What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be getting into some Robin calculations, how to build her, how much damage she can provide to your team, as well as what light cones will work best with her massive 160 energy ultimate, and much more. So if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to let me know by leaving a like, leaving a comment in the comment section below, and subscribing to the channel. But before we get into the calculations, I'm going to show you how to get stellar jades for the low. Lootbar.gg is a third-party top-up platform in which you can get Oneric shards or Genesis crystals for Genshin Impact at a discounted price, almost at a 20% discount. That is a lot of money. Check the link in the description, lootbar.gg, to select Honkai Server or Genshin Impact if you're buying for Genshin Impact. In the top right, you're going to paste your UID under UID and select your server. That is all the information they require from your account. You don't need to put in your password, your Hoyo ID, nothing like that. And then over here is where you're going to select what you're going to purchase. In game, it would have been $300. Here in lootbar.gg is going to be $250. So let's go ahead and click top up now. Select your payment method. Obviously, this is going to be blurred out for you. Click pay now. And there you go. The jades already showed up. I didn't even notice they were there. You can see you can just like transform them like that, you know. Check the link in the description, lootbar.gg. Okay, as usual, we're starting off with our baseline. Over here to the left, we have our damage formula. The reason I'm including a damage formula for a Harmony unit is because Robin has one of those kits that she does provide a bunch of buffs to your team and a lot of extra damage, but she also does some damage herself that she brings to the table, kind of like Ruan Mei. So we're going to go ahead and cover that as well. So far with the total attack, I only have the base attack of 640, which is pretty high if you ask me. The Lycon we're going to be talking about in the baseline is going to be called For Tomorrow's Journey, which is the free-to-play Lycon we're going to be getting in 2.3. Aside from that, she gets 28% attack and traces. She gets 32% attack from the Lycon at S5, and since it's a free-to-play Lycon, it will be S5 obtainable. The boots, there's a few different ways you can build her if you can get 120 speed, which I'm going to cover up later in her speed tuning part. But if you can get 120 speed with the attack boot, then I recommend that. However, if you can't, then speed boot is probably going to be best for everybody else, just so you can take advantage of the Von Walk. But we're going to cover that in a little bit later. Orb, I'm going to recommend either physical or attack. She scales off attack, so I'm going to give her an attack orb, so that's 43.2 over here. And then rope, she's going to need, she absolutely needs the energy recharge rope because of her massive 160 energy requirement. So Hans gives us a 352 base attack, and then for subs, we're going to go with a moderate 30% in subs. We have two pieces, one piece that gives us attack if you don't run the boots, and if you do run the boots, then you have less pieces, but 30% should be good. The relic set for 24%, I'm running the two-piece musketeer, two-piece prisoner, I think it means, or pioneer, no, prisoner. A two-piece musketeer, two-piece pioneer because of the 24% attack, and that is going to give her a 3200 attack, which is not that bad. She doesn't get any damage sources because she doesn't have physical damage augmentation in her traces, so she doesn't get much of damage sources. As far as her damage increases, this is the damage increases that she's going to provide to your team. She's going to give, with the setup, she's going to give your team 934 attack, which is pretty significant. The damage bonus is at 50%. That's pretty standard for level 10 trace. Crit damage is 20%, and if it's a follow-up attack, is an extra 25%. So for follow-up attack teams, which she is catered to, she's going to be providing 45% crit damage, which is pretty nice with 50% damage bonus and a lot of attack, which a lot of these follow-up attackers, they do need help in the attack department. So there's that. If we were to run the attack boots, we're going to jump this to 43.2, and then the attack is almost at 4k. As far as her own personal damage, as you can see, it's actually not that high when you do her basic and when you do the ultimate sig. This basic is actually going to be a lot lower because it doesn't take part into the crit rate crit damage thing. So if you don't build crit rate crit damage, her basic is actually not going to hit this hard, which is not even hard at all. But the ultimate damage with the tick, which each tick of damage, that will take part in this damage formula, which we're going to cover now. So just ignore this part right here. We're just going to focus on the ultimate damage per tick. So we also got to remember that whenever she ults, she takes herself pretty much out of the battle, but she also buffs herself because all of her buffs include the entire team, which she is part of the team, so it includes herself. So she's going to increase her attack by the amount that she's going to increase it by, which is 1044 in this scenario with 3,700 attack. Also, she's going to give us a damage bonus of 50%, which we're going to put right here. The crit damage bonus I'm not going to put in there because I don't know for sure if she can actually increase her crit damage while she is in the concerto stage. So we're just gonna have to wait and see whenever, I don't know, somebody releases a video with that explanation on it. But as for the purpose of this video, just to play it safe, we're not going to add the crit damage into this. I don't think it's going to be a big, like a huge deal, because at the end of the day, this is just supplementary extra damage. Also, the Lycone we are running gives an extra 30% damage increase over here. So that'll bring our ultimate damage per tick at 10k, which is not that bad for a support character that's just like in the background, just singing and rocking around. While your follow-up attack team just goes crazy. Remember, this tick happens every single time you fire off a follow-up attack. In a Dr. Ratio, Topaz and Numbi Aventurine team, follow-up attacks are going to happen at like per turn. It's like 6 or 7 or 8 of them. So this is actually a lot of damage. It's going to be this is going to add up to a lot of damage. So don't be sleeping on this number right here. Just keep in mind that if you're able to actually take part in crit damage increases, this damage is more in the realm of 24,000 damage. So just don't sleep on that. And this instance of damage is happening every single time any character hits an enemy. So it adds up. Trust me, it adds up. So, but as of right now, with the free-to-play Lycone, the damage is not looking that impressive, even though it is impressive when you consider the amount of times it's going to trigger. Okay, moving on to her energy requirement. She has 160 energy ultimate. So that's a pretty high. That's the highest harmony ultimate that we have. So I have 3 instances with 3 Lycones that actually increase energy regeneration or help with energy requirements. So here we have S5 Cogs, S1 Bronya's Lycone that has 10% energy recharge, and then her S1 that also helps her with energy recharge rate, which is pretty good. So starting with the ER Rope plus the Von Walk or Penacony that gives 124.4 energy regeneration, plus the S5 Cogs in MOC. This is what this is going to be, the first table. Second table is Von Walk, the same thing, but with S1 Bronya, and then the third one is the same thing with S1 Signature Lycone. So the first turn, you're probably going to end up skilling. You already have 80 energy. You're going to add 35 because the skill gives you 30, plus her trace gives you an extra 5. This is a low ball number. So I made this table with the lowest amount of talent procs that you need for you to fire off the ultimate, okay? For the first turn, you only need the talent to proc twice, which means 2 enemies getting hit, or 2 enemies getting hit will get you 4 energy, and then the 5 from the tech that she gets when you start the battle with her tech, you get 5 energy. So that'll bring you on the first turn to 134. Mind you, if you switch this up and you actually manage to get 36 energy right here, you can ultimate turn 1. It's highly unlikely because a lot of teams they take at least a turn to get going. So this is why on the second turn, whenever you reach the end of this turn and you start this turn right here, whenever you basic, you're going to trigger your ultimate. So you're going to basic, and then you're already going to have your ultimate. If you speed tune your team correctly, and you are able to have this happen right at the end, right after your team just took their turn, you're going to be able to fire off your ultimate immediately and not waste any energy. That is why this is in blue. This means that this is on her Concerto stage, and she is going to be pretty much out of the battle, and her ultimate is going to be drained down, and she's going to be stacking more energy while she's in the Concerto stage. If you're successful in doing that, then you're going to start your next energy accumulation right here on the second turn. So this whole turn, she's in Concerto stage accumulating hits. Guys, I apologize. There's a dog barking in the distance. I can't help it. He barks 24/7. So on the second turn, you're going to be stacking up her talent. The reason I put 32 energy here is because I was watching some footage of Dr. Ratio, Topaz and Numbi and Aventurine team, and on their second turn they were able to get 16 hits on the enemy, which resulted in her getting 32 energy at the bare minimum. So this is 32 energy that they're getting just from the talent while she's in the Concerto stage. She gets out of the Concerto stage, and now she has all this energy already built up, right? When she basics, actually we have 8 energy here that we're missing. So this is we actually need way less than this. So after you get all this, you don't even need this many talents. You can probably bring this down to like 8. That's too low. 10. Here you go. So if you do 5 hits on the third turn, you're going to be able to ultimate on the next turn after you skill. 159.6 is going to round up to 160. Even though she has a very steep energy requirement with a proper follow-up attack team, she's going to be able to proc a lot of those talent procs, and the energy is going to flow her way. Herda Himiko is probably going to end up being the same thing. Herda Himiko and Aventurine probably going to end up being the same thing with her. They proc a lot of follow-up attacks. Probably not as much as Topaz and Numbi and Dr. Ratio, but they still proc a lot of follow-up attacks. So, and remember, this is with a 3-star S5 Cogs, which most people should have at least an S5 copy of Cogs as of right now. you're able to ultimate fairly consistently, taking into consideration that you do get these hits off. It seems like a lot of hits. In total, it's like 21 hits. But with a follow-up attack team, 21 hits is actually not that high. All right, moving on with the Bronya Light Cone. Same thing, turn 1, 35 energy plus the 4 from her talent. She doesn't have an S5 Cogs proc here. Everything is already added. So the talent gives us 4. This is 2 hits. And then the 5 from the tech gives you 139 energy. The next turn, as soon as you basic, you're going to get 166 energy, which is enough for you to ultimate. You're going to get 5 from your ultimate refund. And then from that point on, you're going to start stacking with the Concerto stage, which we can actually put these in like blue, because you're going to be stacking. This is where you're going to start stacking the Concerto stage procs, right? I did the exact same thing because I'm using the exact same team, which is Dr. Rachel, Topaz, and Numbi, and Aventurine, with the same 16 hits that they were able to get pretty easily, actually. After she basics on her 3rd turn, she's going to proc another talent. This is going to be another turn of them hitting the enemy. And then as soon as you skill right here with the 30, it's actually 35, actually. You're going to have enough energy to fire off another ultimate. So as you can see, with a follow-up attack team, it's very consistent. It's very easy for her to just shoot off her ultimate because she has a consistent battery with the follow-up attacks. Mind you, this is probably her most optimal team for her to get her ultimate so quick. 16 hits and 13 hits is actually not that high when it comes to follow-up attacks if you have a properly built team. And finally, we have her signature light cone. This one was a doozy to calculate because for the first 5 hits, she's actually increasing her energy recharge rate. So this is what this is right here. So don't pay too much mind to this. It's already calculated in here. But same thing, turn 1, 35 energy with her ultimate. And then this 5 instead of 4 is because for the first 2 hits, which is 2 hits right here, she's actually gained 3% energy recharge. So this actually turns from 4 to 5 whenever you take that into consideration because of decimal values and stuff like that. And as you notice, it's just a slightly better than this, but worse than this, which makes sense. So then 5 for the tech. The next turn you're going to basic, and as soon as you basic, you hit 160 energy on the money. And then from that point on, you're going to start stacking your Concerto. And as you can see, these 2 columns right here, this one is for the first 5 hits, which are these right here. In the first 5 hits, remember, she is increasing her energy recharge rate with her light cone. After the 6th hit, she's going to have a fixed increase of 15% energy recharge rate, which brings her total energy recharge rate to 139, almost 140. So pretty nuts. The way I did it is that on turn 2, it's the same amount of hits. So 32 hits here, 32 hits here. And this is actually 32 hits, but split into first 5 hits and then the subsequent hits. And but they actually total up to 32 hits worth of energy, but this gives you 33 energy plus a 5 for the refund. And remember, from this point on, you're going to stack for this ultimate right here. So you have this turn, then you basic, and then you have a few more hits as well, which is 1 less hit than the previous one. And then when you fire off your skill on the 4th turn, you're going to be able to actually ultimate right here. So after you get her energy recharge rate to 124 and get a light cone that fixes her energy requirement, all you really need is a consistent follow-up attack team that is going to push her over the hump, because as you can see, a lot of her energy is coming from follow-up attack teammates hitting the actual enemies so they can battery her up. Yeah, she looks like she was going to be way more complicated to get her energy or her ultimate up, but if you have a properly built follow-up attack team, she will do the job, and she will do it really well. All right, so this little table is the speed and action value table. So the first column right here is going to be just her regular action value and speed. So this is 10,000, which is the action value bar. Her speed is 107, and her action value is actually 93, which is pretty it's okay, you know, it's not that great. She gives herself a natural 25% action advance when the battle starts, which pretty much cuts the 10,000 into 7,500. With her natural speed, bumps her action value down to 70, which pretty much brings her effective speed to 142. So what this means is that without any speed increases, with her action advance, she's going to move as if she had 142 speed on the first turn, 143 speed on the first turn. So if your teammates are slower than 142 speed, she's going to take the first turn, which is what you want. So depending on what your team is looking like, you're going to want to either increase your speed a little more or or just leave it like that, okay? So my recommendation is to getting to at least 120. And the reason I say that is because with 120, you can actually run Sprightly Von Walk. And with Sprightly Von Walk, you don't have to do anything else. You can just do 120 with Sprightly Von Walk, and you're pretty much gonna have an effective speed of 218, which is definitely going to give you the first turn. It's actually not even like needed. If you have 120 speed with the regular action advance, you're only going to have an effective speed of 160, which is fast, but it's not as fast as people make their Branyas or maybe people make their Sparkles, you know? So if you want them to go first, you're going to want to increase the speed a little more. If you get her a speed boot, she's going to have a natural 132, right? At 132, which is a speed boot, she's going to have a natural 176 speed. So this is actually really, really good. So if you just have speed boot and no Von Walk, which I don't know, I kind of like the 5% energy recharge, but it's up to you if you want to run Von Walk or not. If you don't have the Von Walk and you give her a speed boot, you're going to have an effective speed of 176. But if you do run the Von Walk, you're going to have an effective speed of 240, which nothing is going to take that turn away from you. You're going to take that turn so fast, you might actually like loop somebody, okay? My recommendation is to run, if you can get 120 with the Von Walk, just do this because you're still at 218. Nothing's going to catch you at 218. So if you can have attack boot with 120%, with 120 speed, that is perfect. That is ideal. But if you can't, just run the speed boot with the Von Walk. You're just going to fly. You're going to take the first turn so fast. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. Leave them in the comment section below. If I miss anything, leave it in the comment section below. And until next time, guys. See ya.